Well, that's break the law. Counselor?
You're fine.
Are we all in the jail? Depends on who you ask.
I think there's a.
Depends on who you ask.
But you're live, but at least sort of.
Good morning, everyone. We're gonna call this Board of Public Works Safety meeting to order. It is Monday, December 22nd. We are recording. The camera's not working, but the audio is, so be careful what you say. So let the record reflect that board members Ron Hodge and Mary Hamilton are absent, but we do have a quorum. So first item of old business is to approve the minutes from the December 8th meeting.
So moved. Second.
Any conversations, questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the union contract with Terre Haute Fire Department.
Yes, so what you have before you, if you recall, you had already approved, the contract with the Terre Haute Fire Department. We, in going through it with the union, noticed some things that needed to be cleaned up in the contract, and what you have before you is that version of it. The primary changes were, October 1st, I think, 2025, Jay, is that when Medic 5 came on? So, Medic 5, a new ambulance came in service in October of 2025. We inserted that language into the contract. We put in, language related to FLSA, and we lined out the pay for each year of the contract, where we had just previously listed 26, 27, and 28. We broke that down year by year. Jay, is there anything else?
The clothing allowance.
Yeah, the clothing allowance.
The footwear and.
Yeah.
Domestic partner.
Yes. And we had removed the clothing allowance for 2026, and we put that back in for 2027.
Okay, any questions regarding these changes? From the board, from the public? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the union contract with the Terre Haute Fire Department.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Again, any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have the union contract for the Terre Haute Street Department.
Yes, so you have before you, a proposed contract with the Terre Haute Street Department through their, representation laborers, 204. The, proposed contract calls for a 6% pay increase in 2026, 5% in 2027 and 2028. It increases the footwear stipend. The street department gets an additional sick day in 2026 and 2027, taking them up to a total of 11 sick days. And this agreement passed their union this morning.
Okay, that's what I was waiting to hear, because I know that wasn't that the reason we had to table it last time? Any questions regarding the Terre Haute Street Department union contract from the board?
Move to accept. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Any other old business to come before the board today?
We need to add the police department union contact and the civilian employees out of the police.
Yes.
Okay.
So much the same, in going through the final version of the contract with the police department and the police department civilian support staff, we discovered some things that we had talked about that hadn't necessarily made their way into the contract. Like for the police civilian staff, we had agreed that if the civilian support staff is not required to wear a uniform, they wanted to be able to wear blue jeans, and we put that in there with the stipulation that they, be clean cut and have no rolls or tears. We had agreed with the request to align their sick time with the sworn officer sick time provision, which is basically accumulation up to a maximum of 96 hours, with the city buying back 50% of that on, if they leave employment with the city. And then for the merit officers, we had removed the detective provision from their pay chart. That got inserted back in there as some of the members were concerned about not having that specific rank tied into the pay chart. So we put them back in there with the same pay structure as the first class patrolman, which is in line because as detectives, they get a stipend on top of that base salary. Those are the sorts of things we're talking about here, not substantive changes to the original contract language. Both police and fire, if you'll recall, negotiated in 18% in the first year, 0% in the second and third year through this contract. So no modifications to that.
And the language is pretty similar now in all?
Yes.
It's very consistent?
Tried.
Yes. Okay. And they've already voted on this?
Yes.
So we have, I guess we're looking for a motion to approve the, do we do two?
Two motions, yeah.
Two motions.
I put them in as two different items.
Okay, so we need, the first motion would be to accept the union contract for the Terre Haute Police Department as presented.
Move to accept.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board or from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Then the second one is for the civilian, Terre Haute Police Department, the civilian
Support staff.
support staff. So we're looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board or the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any more, Robin? Okay. Any other old business to come before the board? Moving on to new business. First, we have grass liens.
This should be the last set I'll be sending this year.
Okay.
Move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we have payroll.
Move to accept.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, we have claims.
Move to accept.
Second.
And
We got this figured out.
we do. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on to an extension agreement between the city of Terre Haute and Milestone.
State Milestone has offered to extend their contract for a year, so through December 31st, 2026. They've actually given us a little bit of a price reduction as a part of this. Not much of one, but it's a reduction. This is, in my opinion, probably the cheapest we're gonna get if we rebid this. The bid prices are probably gonna come in above this, so I'd recommend we do it.
So the total bid price is $483. Is that what that shows? And then,
Yeah.
that's really an estimate though, right?
That's based on just mimicked quantities. I mean,
Yeah.
these aren't the quantities we're gonna use. They're just kind of weighted towards the items that we use the most, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
And that's just so that we can get a bottom line to compare when we do bid. But the 483091 reflects the cost reduction that they're offering.
Yeah.
Motion to accept.
All right, we have a motion on the table.
Second, excuse me.
Second, that's all right. Any other questions for Brad from the board, from the public? Based on his recommendation, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have a request to purchase armored vehicle. Good morning.
So you have a proposal letter in front of you. This is for a subdued Suburban that is armored. So, yeah, it will look like a traditional vehicle. You wouldn't know that it's armor plated, but it does have rifle protection for officers. It'll primarily be used for SWAT and a SWAT capacity, but we have been seeing an uptick with political people coming to town. So we utilize that as well. Talking with them, move them around town if they need it, or we put it out in a location. And again, no one will know it's an armored vehicle, but would give us protection if something were to happen. Happy.
And it's not driven on a daily basis, only
No.
when needed, right?
Yeah.
I assume it's budgeted or financed or?
Yes, Chief Bird's got that taken care of. And this is cheaper than another Bearcat. We have one of those already. The Bearcat, the price on those went up closer to 400,000 now. This is
All right, any questions regarding the armored vehicle purchase for the police department?
You have one now?
So we do not have, well, so yes, we have a Bearcat, which is treated like a big armored truck.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, we do have a subdued pickup truck as well. But it's armored, it's similar to this, but it's just a truck. Chief Bird wants to add an SUV and the other capabilities we have.
I would assume that the lifespan of this is a little longer than your typical vehicle since you don't use it that often.
Yeah, it would be, we're gonna come back next month and ask for a building for all the stuff in, because some of the stuff's in outside, so. But yes, these vehicles are not driven much. We have, the side pickup has maybe 8,000 miles on it, and that's with us driving at the trainings and things like that. So, pretty good.
What's the purchase price?
Purchase price, 196,000. That's what it was. Yes, 196,000.
Move to accept.
Where do you have this thing serviced?
So it would be, it's a Chevrolet, so we can, if we need to do any kind of thing like that, it'd be under warranty, we would go to our local dealership. All of our routine maintenance will be done, performed in our shop here at town.
How much more does it add to the weight?
I don't know the weight specifications.
It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, it was in there, I did not memorize that part of it.
Yeah.
But this company, the Armored Group, they specialize in or doing suspensions and brakes. And I believe it mentions that in that quote.
I remember seeing something about it.
Yeah, it's a little peculiar in that it's a single source provider, right? They're basically the only company in the country that really does this sort of thing for State Department, other branches of the US government.
Yeah, it's pretty specialized.
Yes, it's a pretty niche market.
Couldn't go down there and buy one.
No.
Oh, you could if you had dinner.
Yeah, that's
right.
For $196,000.
That's right.
They let one go.
Yeah.
I just found it interesting the way that they specified the guns that,
Yes. Yes.
okay, any other questions regarding the armored vehicle purchase? Is there a motion on the table? Yes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There you go.
Thank you.
And next, approved plans and specs on the 2026 CCMD project. That's the community crossings, right?
Yes.
Good morning. So the city received a grant amounting to 642,000 from the community crossings matching grant this year. And we are requesting for the plans and specifications to be approved so that we could advertise it and accept some bids by January 26th.
So you're gonna be submitting this out, or sending this out?
Yeah, like what we did last year, we will post it online
Yep.
and advertise it.
Okay. Any questions for Norman? Or Brian?
Need a motion. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the plans and specs for the 2026 community crossing project. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Next, we have the Terre Haute transit utility contract.
Yes.
For signature, so we can get it after. Every night goes over.
So, yes, the Terre Haute Transit Utility, they are set to vote tomorrow evening at 6:30. The proposal that we have negotiated is 5%, 7%, 3% across 3 years. The other provisions of the contract essentially remain unchanged. The primary reason for that is the transit utility is the only one of the unions that still has a 90% insurance rate for their, city is responsible for 90% of that cost, as opposed to 70%, which is what every other union is at. So that their primary goal was to maintain that, and so the other conditions of the contract remain the same.
Okay, so do we need to table this, or do we need to approve it
Well,
as is, and then
Yeah,
when they vote on
I
it?
think it's just, you would be conditionally approving it on their,
That's what I was wondering, the language that we use. So the motion would be to approve on the condition that
their union.
there's vote, yeah.
They ratify.
That's right.
How many are employees?
How many employees at the transit? So 19, Jesse, I think. I think there's 19, maybe 20. Yeah, I mean, there's,
Union employee.
yeah, I mean, there's roughly 11 drivers, 3 mechanics, and 4 cleaners, and yeah, so 18, 19. There's a couple open positions that they definitely have for drivers that are unfilled under the salary ordinance, but active now, it's in that high teens, maybe 20.
They're never gonna let go of that 90, are they?
I'd say that's,
Bigger.
yeah, that's right.
All right, any questions for Mike regarding this contract? All right, so do we have a motion?
Second.
And it's conditional on their vote, so.
Yes.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Thank
You're welcome. And then, so if for some reason they would vote that down, then does it just get moved to next year, or do we have a special meeting?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't catch the first part of the question.
So,
But they
if they
If they don't
don't,
ratify it, then we operate, they have not given us notice of their intention to cancel the previous, so we would just revert back to last year's contract with the, the salary ordinance that we established sets the maximum pay that they can receive, and that's the way it was explained to them, that, it would be it's hard to understand what they would be gaining, looking at ratification of the contract. But the contract does not allow for strikes or lockouts, so it would just revert back to last year's contract.
so we wouldn't need a special meeting if they don't, okay. All right. Okay, moving on, the inspection agreement between the city of Terre Haute, Department of Engineering, and Terre Haute Department of Redevelopment for the new Margaret Avenue to Rockwood Lane Fruit Ridge Avenue roundabout. Hi, Brian.
This is for the last phase of the new Margaret Avenue project. It was awarded by the redevelopment commission last Wednesday, so we're in construction next spring. So this is for us to provide the inspection services. It's a standard contract, 10% of the bid price for a total of $626,240.86. That goes to our non-diverting fund, but answer your questions.
Brad, why did you decide to take that from Fruit Ridge and Margaret west? Is that right? Where's this
Saw
roundabout?
that tonight.
The roundabouts could be a little bit north of where the intersection is now.
The
Probably
Fruit Ridge and
about-
Margaret intersection?
Correct.
Okay.
North of Margaret?
That, okay, but then
Yeah,
there's
just
gonna be,
by
then there'll be another roundabout on Margaret, kind of southwest of that area, is that right? Did I see that?
That was a
No,
map.
it'll just tie in, so it's the roundabout that's being constructed on the next project, and then this will come down and do one of these. And then you've got Margaret and Fruit Ridge, it'll be a roundabout there, and then it'll just do one more S curve and tie in like that.
Oh, just tying it, it won't be a roundabout
No,
down there.
not
Okay.
there. No, there'll just be two more roundabouts constructed between the two projects that are getting ready to go.
I think that'll help that nightmare of a crossing that's going on right now.
Yeah, I drive that every day on my way home, and like, I'm going south
God.
from Fruit Ridge, and it's clear as day, and then Margaret's backed up
Terrible.
50 cars each way.
So is the roundabout better than a light?
Yes.
All right, so any questions, any further questions for Brad?
For the roundabout at 25th and Poplar.
No.
It gets stacked. It gets stacked up there.
Roundabouts are tricky because there's so
Yeah.
much property you gotta buy.
Right, I get that.
There's all kinds of places I'd like to put one, but
At least they have the
Cost kind of talks about
turn
it.
light at 25th and Poplar, which, because there isn't one at 13th and Poplar.
Right.
Okay, any questions? I'm looking for a motion. To
So moved.
approve.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay.
You're welcome. Next, we have one more thing to say, that's all right. Robin, just keep that. It's a union agreement.
Yes. Yes. The cemetery workers also negotiate with the laborers, local 204, so, yeah. So we had opened up after some conversations with Brandon, both of those contracts for a little bit more discussion, and in the end, no modifications were made, with the exception of the cemetery union was awarded 2 additional sick days, taking them from 8 to 10. And their wages were also 5% in the first year, 6% in the second year, and 5% in the third year. Similar to the street department. With the flip-flopping of the first and second year.
And have they voted on their checks?
Yes.
They have, okay.
And it passed me.
Okay. Move to accept.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the agreement between the cemetery union and the city treasurer. Any other questions from the board? From the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries. Any other new business to come before the board? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So we
All right, all those in favor? Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas, Carla. Oh, my God.